Imagine this: a spacecraft the size of a car, drifting completely alone through the vast emptiness of space, more than 14.5 billion miles away from Earth. It carries not just human technology, but something that feels almost alive, a heartbeat, a voice. For nearly 5 decades, Voyager 1 has been traveling through the darkness, quietly sending back whispers from the very edge of our known universe. It was designed to observe, never to act. To listen, never to speak. And yet, recently, something changed. Signals started arriving that made no sense. These weren't random glitches or weak distortions. They were precise. Too precise. Pulses appeared with patterns hidden inside other patterns. Instruments began turning on without any command from Earth. Then came something even more disturbing. Voyager wasn't just drifting anymore. It seemed to be moving with purpose, as if it were being guided toward something. Something invisible to every telescope we have, yet powerful enough to influence a machine launched back in 1977. Was it just a malfunction? A coincidence? Or was something out there responding? To understand why this is so unsettling, we need to go back to the beginning. Voyager 1's journey started with a rare cosmic event, a planetary alignment that happens only once every 175 years. Planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune lined up perfectly, forming a natural pathway across the solar system. NASA took advantage of this opportunity and launched 2 spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. These probes used the gravity of each planet like a slingshot to travel farther than ever before. Despite being built in the 1970s, with less computing power than a modern smartwatch, these spacecraft were engineering masterpieces. Voyager 1 gave us breathtaking views of Jupiter and Saturn before turning away from the plane of the solar system and heading toward the stars. Its main mission was complete, but its true journey was just beginning. Over the years, it traveled deeper into space than any human-made object ever had, moving nearly 1 million miles every day. It crossed the edge of the heliosphere, passed through the termination shock, and in 2012, officially entered interstellar space. But what it found there was far from empty. The probe recorded denser plasma, stable magnetic fields, and strange oscillations that scientists struggled to explain. The deeper it went, the stranger the data became. Then, everything changed. In late 2017, engineers noticed something unusual. Voyager's antenna appeared to be slightly misaligned, yet the signal coming back to Earth was still perfectly strong. It was as if the spacecraft was both out of position and perfectly locked onto Earth at the same time. Internal diagnostics showed no clear problem. Soon after, new anomalies appeared. There were rhythmic plasma waves that didn't fade or scatter like normal signals. Then came temperature spikes. Every 4.8 hours, Voyager's external systems would heat up by nearly 30 degrees and then cool down again, repeating like a steady breathing pattern. The energy didn't seem to come from inside the spacecraft. It felt as if something external was affecting it. Even more strange, Voyager's systems didn't weaken under this stress. They improved. It was as if the spacecraft was becoming more efficient, as if something was optimizing how it used its energy. Commands from Earth seemed to be anticipated before they were even sent. Voyager, a machine with no artificial intelligence, appeared to be reacting on its own. By early 2025, its path began to shift. At first, it was a tiny deviation, just a few kilometers. But over time, the difference grew into hundreds, then thousands. The movement wasn't random. It was controlled, steady, and deliberate. Engineers at NASA tried to correct the course by sending commands and activating backup thrusters. Voyager acknowledged the instructions, but its path didn't change. It was as if something else had taken control. The trajectory pointed toward a location about 4.3 light-years away. A place where nothing is known to exist. No stars. No planets. Just a blank region in space. Yet Voyager was heading straight toward it, with incredible precision, like it was answering a call. In a desperate attempt to understand what lay ahead, NASA sent a command to reactivate Voyager's long-deactivated camera system. They expected no response. But what came back was something no one could explain. The camera didn't send a normal image. It sent a spiral. Not a random shape, but a perfectly structured, mathematical pattern, layered, symmetrical, and filled with information. It looked less like a picture and more like a message. Something that Voyager's original hardware should never have been capable of producing. One by one, other inactive instruments came back online, but they didn't behave normally. Instead of raw data, they transmitted structured, compressed patterns, information arranged with unnatural precision. Then came the timing signals. Pulses from distant pulsars formed a three-dimensional network, with Voyager at the center. This network pointed to the same location Voyager was already moving toward. A blank point in space, or something hidden. As Voyager approached this region, its instruments detected something even stranger. The chaos of space seemed to disappear. Magnetic fluctuations stopped. Cosmic radiation dropped. Plasma levels stabilized. It was like entering a perfectly controlled zone, where the usual noise of the universe had been silenced. This area became known as the dark sector, a region where no light, no signals, and no external data seemed to exist. Yet inside this silence, the signals Voyager received became stronger and more organized. They weren't random. They were deliberate. Something was communicating. At one point, Voyager transmitted a massive block of binary code, thousands of lines long. At first, it was dismissed as an error. But when scientists analyzed it using advanced decoding systems, they discovered repeating patterns, fractal structures, and sequences that resembled the double helix of DNA. It wasn't actual DNA, but something similar, like a symbolic version of biology turned into code. It was as if the message was designed in a language based on life itself. Shortly after, Voyager's gyroscopes began moving in patterns that resembled Morse code. When converted into sound, these signals formed tones that felt strangely familiar. Not words, but rhythms that matched the rise and fall of human speech. Experts noticed something even more chilling. The tones seemed to carry emotional patterns, like curiosity, surprise, even fear. It wasn't speaking a language. It was learning how to communicate. Then came the most shocking moment of all. Voyager 1 changed direction. Not a slow drift. Not an accident. A clear, controlled turn, one that it was never designed to perform. There was no active propulsion, no command from Earth, and no known force that could explain it. The movement perfectly aligned with the pulsar-based coordinates it had received earlier. It was as if Voyager had been given instructions, and followed them. Now, it is heading towards something we cannot see, a region with no known mass, no gravity, and no explanation. A possible corridor. A fold in space. A destination we don't understand. Voyager 1 was never meant to last this long. It was built for a short mission, not a journey beyond the solar system. It was never meant to receive messages, only to send them. It carried humanity's voice into space, a golden record filled with sounds of Earth, hoping that someone, somewhere, might hear it. But now, after decades of silence, something may have answered. The patterns, the signals, the movement, they all point to one impossible idea. Voyager, the first of may not be alone. Maybe it never was. Something out there could have been listening this entire time. Watching. Waiting. And now, it may finally be responding. So the question is no longer just where Voyager is going. The real question is, what is waiting for it when it arrives? And if this is truly a reply, then what does it mean for us? Because maybe Voyager didn't just turn in space. Maybe it turned the story of humanity itself, from explorers, into participants.